You should be warned, the upcoming episode will be full of unfiltered, off-the-cuff discussion. As such, you should consider this your spoiler warning.
Hello, my name is Kyle.
And I'm Ryan.
And we combined, man, I fucking boned it already.
Whoa!
When our powers combine, we form.
Again?
No, we're just rolling through.
Oh my god.
Our
We're
powers
so
combined, we form Experience Grind Podcast.
Did you get worse on purpose?
Now, yeah.
Okay.
I'm faking it. The podcast where? Better or worse? Good or bad? This is really bad.
This is bad, yeah.
We're going to grind it out and tell you our experiences on everything that we go through.
Did you guys just pick me up coughing into the microphone?
I hope so. I mean, that's the...
just the cherry on the top.
God, that was... All right, so just grateful that I don't think any intro can ever get worse than that.
No, don't say that.
I can.
I'm sure you could. But personally, for me, striving for my excellence, man, oh God, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
I'm blaming the second bottle of Andre we're on. I'm jumping around here too.
You're jumping around.
You're still not off that downward slide. By the way,
the illusion that this is shot separately. You're just.
I could drink 2 bottles before we start recording, but I'm not.
Role model.
Because I'm in the same bright pink T-shirt, and you're in the same purple Hawkeye shirt.
I mean, in all honesty, I wear a Hawkeye T-shirt every week.
I mean, Hawkeye's great because I like the color purple.
I do too. That's why I got it.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Color Purple.
Oh,
isn't that the one with Oprah in it?
Yeah, that movie's awful. I hate that movie.
I've never actually.
We had to watch it in school for some fucking reason, and it was stupid. It's fucking god awful. Are we gonna just talk about the Color Purple and Sister Act?
Slavery
I
movie?
think this is a great way to start this episode. If you're gonna come out right and say like the Color Purple is a stupid movie, because it's gonna lend a lot of credence to my viewpoint on the movie we are talking about today, which is
10 Cloverfield Lane. The sequel.
That's a segue, motherfuckers.
It's not a sequel. It's a blood relative of the Cloverfield movie.
It's an offshoot. Directed. It's like the Twilight Zone. It's just a whole separate story.
Which I like that they're going for that. I think this movie falls really short of the holy thing, but that's okay. You can do that with experimental movies.
We will talk about that more later.
Yeah. So, we've talked about what the episode's about. It's going to be about 10 Cloverfield Lane.
You're still on that downward slide.
We're going down.
Oh my! It's like, I don't know what happened. There was no gradual decline. No. Like you were doing fine, and then you just dropped through the fucking.
It's
floor.
because we're talking about this movie, man, and I didn't fucking like it at all.
I held my composure when we talked about Batman versus Superman for 2 hours, and that was a literal piece of garbage.
That was like a month ago, right?
Yeah, that
was a month ago.
That was a full month ago.
Yeah,
last time
it wasn't just 10
minutes
ago.
We're joined a month later by our good friend and friend of the show, Nathan. As always, he's our most reliable guest host.
Hey, that's quite the compliment.
We've had 2 others.
Most reliable. Yeah. He's very punctual. At least.
Yeah, he shows up, so fucking A for that, right? Hey man, you're here like when we ask you to be, so fucking bully.
Who else have you had as a guest?
Our buddy Brooks has been on 2, and then his wife Laura, the lovely Laura, last one. And she's technically in every episode here on out.
She'll be doing
warning because she does our spoiler warning.
Remember last month you guys were talking about that?
Yeah, last month we totally went all in depth on that. Mm-hmm. We're recording exactly 1 month in advance because I wear my shirts 1 month
monthly
cycle.
Yeah. So that's how I'm wearing the pink.
Just
again.
like a lady's ovaries monthly.
Do not ever compare me to a lady's ovaries again. How dare you?
Why, you don't think that's complimentary?
Are ladies' ovaries, are they pink? I don't even know. I've never...
Ladies' ovaries make babies. They give life, Kyle. And you don't want to be compared to an ovary?
They're also in the shape of like a demon's bull skull.
I don't know anything about women really, guys. So if you guys could explain this stuff to me.
What is a woman?
I mean, I've seen them.
Was that a Castlevania thing you're going on?
What is a man?
What is a woman?
He was even taking a drink of the wine glass when he said it. He's like tossing across the room.
You didn't like that part. I love that part.
I thought it was cheesy, but like I know it.
Cheesy.
Like, it's memorable at least.
What is a woman? A miserable pile of secrets? Yes, she is.
And there goes our female demographic.
Oh, they hate us anyways.
All 2 of you who listen.
I love
Are there
you,
actually
ladies. You're
women that
great.
listen to this?
There's a couple.
My
Your
wife does, for sure,
And your
but-
mother, who called us out on the last podcast.
Oh, my mother-in-law and my mother's
Your actual mother.
work friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, old women listen to this show too. And I was like, I'm so sorry, old ladies. You are the best.
Are you going to say that? Is that your statement now?
That's the statement.
old
You guys
ladies
are
the
amazing.
best.
Thank you all so much for listening. I love you. I can't wait to talk to you in the very near future, Ryan's mom. We're going to get along great. I just winked and pointed at your mom.
I mean,
I'm surprised
that's
you guys
fine.
feel that way because I actually hate all old women.
That was my statement like 3 weeks ago.
I've never met an old lady who wasn't
This is
a
experience.
fucking idiot. Just the worst kind of people. If there were camps for them, I would be for it.
Sitting there.
Oh!
I'm just kidding. Ryan, what's your mom's name?
Elderly internment camps.
You don't have to say your name on air.
I'm actually into this idea.
His mom's actually going to be a guest on the show.
It's
very
like
soon.
it's like Logan's Run.
Dude, by the
What are you
way,
guys gonna talk
like,
about?
Ryan's mom, we need your list of movies, please. I need those.
Like she's watching right now.
She will be a month later.
I'm
I don't
sure
know.
she's not gonna
I'm
be
giving
watching.
a call out to
Yeah.
her. That's my wink.
What,
point to
what
her
is
again.
you're gonna talk about her favorite movie? What
Well,
is
we're
it?
gonna do a Mother's Day special coming up.
Spoilers.
where-
Wait,
whatever.
when is Mother's Day?
It's in May.
But we're gonna
Okay.
talk to Kyle's mom in one episode, talk about her 3 favorite movies,
I
and
do
then we're
know
gonna
her.
talk to my
She's
mom.
Awful.
She's awful. You are
If you're listening to this,
winning.
you want me to give your mom's name on the show?
Yeah, go ahead.
April, if you're listening to this, where do I even fucking begin with you, April? I've known you for quite a while now. I haven't seen you in a while, but just stop. All right,
This is my favorite episode ever. I love it.
You've done enough. Just quit.
Just
all right?
stop.
You know what
Just
I'm talking
stop.
about. So I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, I'm crying. This is
Damn it.
amazing. Oh. So yeah, we're gonna have my mom on to talk about her 3 favorite movies. We're also gonna have Ryan's mom on to talk about her 3 favorite movies. Mm-hmm. We're gonna release them on Mother's Day.
Maybe we should just do this episode about your mom's 3 favorite movies. We'll talk about them
What's his
and
name?
why
We don't know
We'll-
what
we'll
his mom
I
guess.
think we should just do episodes talking about our moms,
Yeah.
like just and how they should stop.
And how much Nathan hates them.
quit it.
Hates both of our mothers. He's never met yours, but I guarantee he hates her too.
I'm sure
She's
at
got to be
this
better
rate.
than April. Though. I mean, I've met her a number of times.
Well, it's crazy. Like, it's insane how much my mother actually loves Nathan. Like, she thinks he's one of the
I haven't
greatest
seen your
people
mom in
ever.
a long time. It's been
She
probably a
has
few
nothing
years.
but the greatest things to always say about you. And she has no idea the absolute piece of shit that you are.
Well,
the
I mean,
poor
That's
woman.
about right.
Yeah, I don't know. April's all right, I guess. Now that I've heard that. No, I'm
love
just
it.
kidding. I like Kyle's mom. She's
Your mom's
great.
awesome. We talked about your mom, I think, last time because we talked about how many times she's watched the movie Anaconda. Which
I haven't seen her watch that in a while, but she does really like just shit like movies like that, like sci-fi original type stuff. Oddly enough, my girlfriend also likes that crap, and
really.
So
Like-
you married your mom.
yeah, I mean,
Or you're
we've been
dating your
dating,
mom.
Yeah. I'm not.
Sorry,
I'm
sorry.
not
You're not
ready to-
married.
I'm not ready to,
He ain't putting no ring on that.
commit to that just yet. But no, but like it seems like every time I go over to the girlfriend's house, she'll probably listen to this. So whatever. But
Hi, Alicia.
yeah,
I've not met you, Alicia. Unlike Nathan,
Young.
I bet you're lovely. I
You
don't
guys-
think the worst of people.
Alicia's pretty awesome. I will say that. I've met her a couple times. And
we saw
I mean,
Tim Heidecker.
She puts up with Nathan on a regular basis.
true.
I don't
So-
know. She's seen my horrific.
I know that
body.
she's constantly drunk. She's wasted every time she deals with Nathan. I'm sure that helps.
Every time we have sex, it is like blackout drunk. No, not blackout. 'Cause that'd be kind of fucked up.
I
But
think we just should nip all this in the bud before something incriminating comes out.
guys, I have a
Oh
lot
my
of
god,
problems.
this is like that one episode where you talked about porn for 20 minutes.
That was
Can
a
I
good
just get-
episode, man.
Was it?
No, probably not, because we talked about Mass Effect 2. Oh!
Can we just get real for a minute, guys?
Nathan's got issues.
No, let's just talk.
You know
about
what
something.
grinds my gears?
Guys? I'm gonna get raw for a minute here. If you don't
Speaking of getting raw.
As raw as Zack Snyder's dick after watching 9/11 tributes.
Damn, dog, now.
Oh shit! I had
Wow.
my hand in the middle of the fucking thing. Whatever.
Sound engineering.
Alicia, if you do listen to this, I didn't mean any of that. I don't even remember what I said.
I'm drunk right now.
I'm so
I
fucking.
remember exactly what both of you said.
I'm so high and drunk right now.
I'm wasted on PCP and cocaine. I don't know anything.
I've been drinking.
No.
I've been drinking Andre's red stuff here
This
for a month at least.
We've not left this recording booth for an entire month.
it's like the movie Room. We've just been trapped in here with Andre.
They've sent airdrops like in Lost, but of no food, just Andre champagne.
It's no Dharma initiative. It's the Andre initiative.
Ooh,
and that's
yeah.
all this is.
So thank you, Andre. You
Cheers.
keep us incredibly
Let's get a
wasted.
clink.
So, fuck it, man. Let's get into this bitch. We're back here a month later to talk about 10 Cloverfield Lane. What we liked about it, what we didn't like. There's going to be a very great division. You and I are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah,
and Nathan is here as the happy medium. I'm assuming he's not super in the corner, but he's not super hateful either.
The movie I loved until like the last 20 minutes.
See,
We can talk about that.
We'll talk
later.
about that
But,
once we get into it. But for people who really had an issue, like one of our most vocal complaints earlier on is that Kyle and I agreed too much. That we are too in unison.
Boy, if you listen to the last two episodes,
this is the episode
wow,
where we will
not at all.
Yeah.
And which is great because we're still great friends.
Yeah.
What was the one prior to Batman?
What did we do prior to that?
It's
We did Resident Evil,
but I think we are both.
and then the
kind
Raid
of-
2 as well. And we were both on the board with that.
I think we're always in like the ballpark, just to different degrees. Like I respect Resident Evil.
What's
I like
crazy
it enough, but
to the degree that we have both been disagreeing on this movie, it's
Cloverfield
unprecedented.
is very drastic.
Yeah.
We are on opposite sides of the spectrum.
It's crazy. So, I don't know. We got this game that we've done. We
Well, are you
introduced
gonna do a
Nathan to it.
bumper?
Oh yeah, we do have a bumper.
Are we gonna-
You've picked this one as well,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. So this is from the soundtrack. It's by Bear McCreary, and I think I actually love this soundtrack, and I've listened to it several times since. It's I think it has a great theme to it, very Spielbergian. Kind of love it. I kind of love it. So this is the track from the main title suite.
So that was from the Cloverfield Lane soundtrack. Who did the soundtrack for it?
Bear McCreary.
Bear McCreary. I've never heard of him. Has he done anything else?
He has. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, though.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not prepared. Like, really, I've not heard much of Bear McCreary's music enough to even garner a fandom in him. I just really liked what he did with the soundtrack. So maybe he has. I just don't know.
The name does sound familiar, but I don't know anything off the top of my head.
So, I mean, we had kind of talked about things that we could discuss before this, but I just kind of want to get into this.
We'll just get into it. That's fine.
Yeah. You guys want to do this synopsis game? Who wants to play?
What do we do again?
You got
It's
a
been a
1 minute
month.
breakdown.
I mean,
it has been a month. I know, Nathan.
I
Thanks
just feel
for
like I need
sticking
to
to it.
stress that it's been like exactly 1 month since we last. So it's kind of fuzzy for me here.
I'll go first. What's the matter?
Trying to think of the fucking third guy's name.
It's your favorite dude.
I know. It's John something Jr., but my brain went blank.
Thank you, Andre. All right.
Yeah, I know.
You think I'm gonna try to do this?
Go for it.
Okay. Go. 10 Cloverfield Lane is a science fiction movie. It's also a thriller and a sort of a mystery movie. The main chunk of the movie takes place in an underground bunker. It's all about survival and figuring out who is who has the best interest at heart, and who you can trust. And then, boom, things from space come down and fuck everything up anyways. It was produced by J.J. Abrams. It's in the same universe as the Cloverfield movie. I don't think it has anything to do with that one. And I didn't like it. So there we go. That's my time. 42 seconds. Not the shortest. Also not my best description. I'm not on the point today.
No.
So, and to give counterpoint, I would like you to do it. And then we can throw Nathan on one too.
Sure, we can do that. I'm ready. So, 10 Cloverfield Lane is a spiritual sidequel, not a sequel, not a prequel. It's just a side story in the Cloverfield universe that is now like a Twilight Zone, where a girl gets into an accident, finds herself in a bunker with 2 other men, and has to decide if they are actually trying to help her, harm her, and then if there is anything actually going on outside, like they say. It is a Hitchcockian thriller, and I don't know. It's directed by Dan Trachtenberg, which was left out. So I mean, I guess that's it.
I think it could have been left out. Time. I think he added extra seconds. I think I saw you at like 38. You came in under me.
I mean, that's it. Like, I mean, I didn't throw in the last 20 minutes, but
Nathan, you want to give this a shot?
Yeah, I suppose. Why not?
All right.
All right, go ahead. All right, so what was it 10 Cloverfield Lane
oh my God,
is lady is leaving her boyfriend, gets in a real bad car accident, gets taken back to this weird bunker by John Goodman. He has a name in the movie. He's not playing himself. He's telling her that the world's ended. She doesn't know if to believe him. There's another guy down there, this younger guy whose name I don't remember. They kind of grow and bond over time, but you find out that, well, I won't spoil, but that's basically the gist of it. John Goodman told her that shit's all fucked up and you can't leave. And so they're in the bunker together. The end.
Time.
It was like 41 or something.
Yeah, I think 41 sounds right. All of us were under a minute, which is good. Ryan usually goes over a minute or gets very close to it.
well, the reason I was able to get it done is because it's a very simple story.
Yeah, there's not really much to say.
It's very simple. It's I think earlier on in this podcast we've misused the term bottle episode at one point, because this is a bottle episode.
I don't know what that means. So
a bottle episode is when a TV series, like you're given 12 to 24 episodes, and you have bottle episodes, which are these cheap, very inexpensive episodes where your characters don't do anything. They're just locked in a room.
They take place in the
And
same
they talk.
area.
So like,
okay.
and I think this is going to paint why I enjoyed this movie so much. Is in the Twilight Zone, my favorite Twilight Zone. I really like the show. Like, I think it's hit and miss mostly. Like, there's some good episodes and bad episodes. But my favorite Twilight Zone episode is called 5 Characters in Search of an Exit, which is 5 people wake up in different costumes. One's dressed as a clown, one's dressed as a ballerina, one's dressed as a sailor, and they're all in this round room with no exit, and they just have to talk. They have no idea how they got there. They don't even have any idea who they are, and they have to find a way out and just kind of find out what's going on. So this movie is that in movie form. It's that with the Cloverfield twist, and it's kind of why I dig the hell out of it. But if somebody else wants to take over, they can.
Do you have a favorite Twilight Zone episode? Because I know I do.
I guess I feel like all the ones I'm a big fan of are the ones everybody likes.
Yeah.
You know,
that's one of the ones
I've actually seen pretty much the entire show.
I have too.
I would say
I've always liked them.
I've never watched them.
Grandma.
I've never watched them like in a row, but
I did at work one. Yeah.
I mean, they used to do those marathons every year on like what was it, Memorial Day or 4th of July.
Was it Sci-Fi that they would put them on?
Yeah. So I've seen all of them here and there, but. I mean, the one where they shut off the power in the neighborhood and everybody loses their shit. And
that's a pretty good one.
And the one where the lady gets the surgery and her face is actually real pretty.
Beautiful and all the ugly pig people.
Yeah, and they're
that's
like,
pretty famous
this bitch
one.
is nasty.
That's one I remember so vividly as a child, being kind of like disturbed by that image.
I think my favorite one is the one where the little kid has the psychic powers and he threatens to send people to the cornfield.
Oh yeah, they remade that for the movie too.
Yeah, they did. But I always love that old black and white one. That little kid is fucking just a terrible little shit. It's really greatly done. But I like that one. And people, they do everything they can to not piss him off, so that because he's this all powerful deity that will ruin their life and kill them. So
I love that one. I think I like the movie version better by Joe Dante.
I like the movie version of the Terror at 30,000 Feet with John Lithgow.
Yeah, I think that's better than the William Shatner one too.
Yeah, I don't like the William Shatner one. The gremlin on the wing is just awful. Yeah, but in the movie one, it's really fucking creepy.
Agreed.
Twilight Zone movie is a hard one to watch because of that whole story behind the.
Yeah, the dude dying.
I don't want to get too into it because it's a pretty morbid story, but. I would get into it, but I don't want the audience to.
Two children died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. But so and it's it's been a while since I watched that, but as far as I know, that's in the movie. Not the actual act of that happening, but like the thing that is it Max? Not Max Landis. That's
it's Max von
John Landis.
Yeah, it's John Landis.
He directed
his father.
it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Max Landis is the screenwriter, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who wrote American Ultra and some other movies.
Yeah.
Spielberg's got a hand in that too.
Yeah, he did one of them.
It was Spielberg, Joe Dante, or Jonathan Landis, and then there was another one. I want
Jonathan
to say
Landis,
Frank Darabont. I think it was Frank Darabont.
Isn't Jonathan Landis the Sequest kid?
Yeah. That killed himself?
Yeah. You said John. It's well, now I can't remember what his actual name is.
I think it's John Landis.
Yeah,
I think
you said Jonathan Landis.
No, is it Brandis? Jonathan Brandis?
Yeah, Jonathan Landis is the film director.
I was thinking when you said that of the guy.
I'm too deep into Andre to fucking
he was in that.
Out. I don't know.
He was in that movie with.
Perfect time to talk about my favorite movie of the year. So
Rodney Dangerfield's Ladybugs, one of my favorite films.
Why are we talking about Rodney Dangerfield's
Because
Ladybugs?
it's got
about the kid that killed himself.
It's got Jonathan Landis
or
John. What is his fucking name?
Do you know Sound Engineer? You know who we're talking about, though, right?
You're in the fan club. Don't you tell us. Who is he?
He's in the fan club.
He's not in any fan club. That's the thing that we love about Sound Engineer Andy.
So, all right, fuck it, man. Let's get into this 10 Cloverfield Lane.
What movie are we talking? 10 Cloverfield Lane. Okay.
You like it, so I want you to take lead.
Okay. Well, I can maybe see why people don't like this movie. It's a very specific type of movie for a very specific type of person, and I am that person. So it might work for some people, it might not work for some people. For me, it works very well. It does everything I want in this type of movie. It is a very tense thriller, and it does a lot of things very well when it comes to subverting expectations. I went in after the trailer really expecting something, and they do something different, and then in 10 minutes they do something else different to counter that, and they just keep doing these things where like every 15 to 20 minutes you're getting a different view on it. And the best, we kind of already talked about the plot, so I'll just summarize real quick again, is Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character Michelle is, as you said, like breaking up from her boyfriend, leaving, running away.
Who's voiced by Bradley Cooper, by
Yeah,
the
which
way.
I didn't know until
I
afterwards.
didn't know that
That's-
either.
I'd read that a couple days after we watched it.
Well, that's J.J. Abrams because he was part of Alias back when. So he's in the J.J. Abrams fan club.
He's in the universe.
Yeah. So she's leaving. She gets into an accident and winds up in this dude's survival bunker underground. And the dude played by John Goodman. His name's Howard in the movie. And he's kind of religious nutty, kind of untrustworthy. And he says, you know, you can't go outside. There's something bad outside. He's kind of very vague about it. He says something to the effect of like, it's gas. We don't know if it's terrorists or aliens or whatever, but there's something bad outside. And the whole movie is her trying to figure out, is this guy trustworthy or not? And I think in most movies that are like this, you get one of two outcomes, which is he's crazy or it's real outside. I love in this movie that it does both. Like, John Goodman's unreliable. He's kind of crazy. But
I'd
there
say
is
he's
also
fully
something.
crazy. He's
Yeah, I think he goes
absolutely
beyond
completely
kind of.
unhinged.
Well, I guess he's kind of crazy until he does like that one deed, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, but he's irredeemable. But that it has the balls to do both of those things. Like, you don't see in movies. Like, it said, like, yes, you can have both of these. Like, yes, there is something worse outside, but he is also a villain. Like, he is not good either. So I really admire that. And just overall, I think there are a lot of very smart touches. And I think this script is very, very well written. We can get into the ending, which I think is going to be very contentious for a lot of people. I really like it. There are some things I don't like about it. I have nitpicks with it.
So very similar to me and Superman.
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman.
Maybe. I think
I don't think I liked Batman
this
Superman
movie.
as much as you did.
Yeah.
You've already said this is your movie of the year.
So far, this is my favorite movie I've seen this year.
And I
because
disagree.
It does play
I
to
think
my strengths.
so far my movie of the year has been The Witch. Easily.
Yeah.
I think that movie is fucking great. It does everything
I think
perfectly.
that's in my tops,
Yeah.
like for sure.
So
unless I find like more movies as we go on, like right now that'd be in my tops of the year.
yeah,
too.
but contradictorily, this is my least favorite movie I've seen so far this year. Easily. But I think
I could speak to mine more, but I really do want to hear why, because because I love you as a friend, I respect your opinion, and I feel like we do get along so well. Like, I don't understand how you can hate this movie. Like, I understand, like, kind of being in the middle, Nathan. Like, I get that viewpoint. I don't understand how you can hate this movie.
Well, I wasn't really clear on my feelings about it earlier, probably, but I actually really liked this movie, up until, and we'll talk about what happens in these last 20 minutes, but that last bit, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The idea of it was fine, but the way they did it, I was just like,
execution.
well, go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead.
I think the biggest reason I probably don't like this movie is probably my fault. I will say that hands down out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
I am a giant fan of the original Cloverfield. I think it does a lot of things fantastic. And knowing that this movie was in the Cloverfield universe, I knew some things that there's something going to happen. And I just felt like the entire movie, I wanted that to happen. And I'm like, what the fuck? Give me what I want, what I know is coming.
What, like a giant monster movie?
Not even just a giant monster, but I knew that there was going to be something otherworldly happening. And it just, I don't know. I kept knowing that going in, like, I was just like, get to that fucking point. I know where we're going with this. I know what's happening. I didn't have an interest in it. And maybe it's my fault, and maybe it's also part of the marketing, and that they attach this to the Cloverfield universe. But it comes with a sort of unspoken expectation that isn't achieved until the last 10, 20 minutes. And when it finally gets there, to me, it was so fucking tacked on that, like, I would have liked this movie so much more if it just wasn't even there. If this was just a bunker thriller movie and it was presented to me that way as a smaller indie film, I'd have been way on more board with it than what it eventually became.
I argue you need it thematically. And I think at this point, like, viewers, listeners, whatever, like you can get a sense of where we all stand on this and judge accordingly. From this point, like we're gonna spoil the show, this movie, because we need to talk about that ending. I think you need that. I think you need that last 20 minutes because thematically, like Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character runs from situations. She doesn't confront anything. So you need this confronting the aliens. You need this alien threat, and that's the big twist. Is like, yes, there are aliens outside. They're killing people. They're poisoning them with gas and doing whatever. But you need this threat because you need to have them all fighting. Like the message when she's driving away. Like so she. This is all right. It's hard to talk about, but there's nitpicks with the portrayal of the aliens. I don't think they're particularly well designed.
I think that too.
And I think some of the shots are a little bit cheesy and action movie. Like she gets a Molotov cocktail at one point as like an alien ship is grabbing her in a car, and she gets out the window and throws a Molotov cocktail into the alien mouth. It blows up the ship. She falls down and drives off safe. It's a little bit like it doesn't belong in this movie. That part specifically. I like that she fights the aliens, and I think you need all that because as she's driving off to leave the situation, her character has like this big open dialogue with Emmett's character, another man in the shelter, about how she's flawed as a person, how she just runs from everything. She ran from her boyfriend, and she hears this distress call, which is, you know, we are overwhelmed here. We're looking for anybody who can help. We need nurses. We just need help. And she has the choice to continue driving to the coast where it's potentially safe or go and help fight. And she sits there at the crossroads for a minute, waits, and then decides to go help. So I think you need that thematically because that completes her arc as a character. And that's why, like, even though I have some nitpicks with how the aliens are portrayed, you kind of need it because this movie is so rich in its characters and its themes. And I really think, and I'm glad you said it, that because you were expecting a Cloverfield movie and you didn't get that, because this is not a Cloverfield movie.
Not at all.
This is not even close
But
to what
that's
that
not my
was.
only issue with it, but yeah.
But I do think if it wasn't marketed like this and it was some sleeper hit, you didn't hear about it, you didn't hear anything, and one of your friends was like, hey, check this movie out, I think you would have enjoyed it a lot more and you wouldn't have had such strong negative feelings about it.
Very possibly.
I think that's like a big thing. Like I do feel like with distance, if you come back to this movie in 3 to 4 years, I think you'll enjoy it. You might not love it, and that's fine. Like I don't expect anybody to love it like I do, but I do think you'd enjoy it.
What about you, Nathan? Because I've got some other things I want to say about the points that he made.
First of all, would you mind filling this glass?
Yeah, absolutely.
up a
Keep
little
talking. I'll fill you, bro.
bit? All right. Well, like I said before, and since the endings, we're doing spoilers here.
Yeah.
Last 20 minutes, you know, she escapes the bunker and fights an alien or whatever. Now, I didn't hate the idea of that being what was out there, even though it kind of, I knew there was going to be some big twist because it's a bad robot movie or whatever. It's how, you know, there's always some weird thing about it. And it's always really secretive, so you know something fucked up's going on. And it's already kind of a crazy story to begin with because of the, well, I guess I should start there because the time, which is like 90% of the movie, if not more, where that's spent in the bunker is great. Like I love all three of the characters, or all three of the actors do great jobs. John Goodman in particular is like, even though he's like 400 pounds overweight in this movie, he still comes off as like incredibly intimidating. Like, he's so much bigger than the other two people as well, especially her. Like she, you know, there's no chance she's fighting this guy. So it's like, she's going to have to be clever about this, whatever she does. So you know that much.
Yeah.
And
I think it's one of his best performances of his career.
He's really fucking creepy.
I think he's on another level.
And you know, they do a good job of setting her up as far as like when she's in her apartment, you see her little thumb, what do you call it? Thimble. Yeah. You see that, and you see that she's into like fashion stuff. Yeah. So it's like, you don't really think about it at that moment, but it pays off. You know what I mean? Even though it's just a little thing.
Up very well in this movie.
And it's like you were saying, where they set things up to be a certain way, but John Goodman's character isn't like this one-dimensional psychopath, even though he clearly is crazy. he's likable at times too, you know. And there's the whole montage in the middle of the movie, pretty much, where they're all just kind of hanging out and cooking and watching TV and playing board games and shit. And that's fine. Like, I like that.
Set to I Think We're Alone Now, which the music in this movie always like has these lyrics that fit perfectly for the scenes. It's very Tarantino like.
Yeah, and so I liked everything about the movie, and then like I was really enjoying it up until you were talking about how she mentions that she's always running away from her problems.
This is my big issue with the movie too.
Well, that part's fine, but
it's so ham-fisted.
The part of
I feel
the part of that, just her escaping that place is enough to finish that arc. I feel, and then you get outside. Now, if I was
no, she's running away. Like, so if she escapes the bunker, she's still just running away. She's not confronting anything.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But like, you know, she has to confront. I mean, you know, she could have just been content living down there, but you know, or I don't know.
No, by that point in the movie, like it's
that's true.
Clear, like I mean, he shoots Emmett.
That's true. I forgot.
And
I'll be honest, we watched this like a while ago, so I'm not like
we're not as fresh on this one as we were with the Batman versus Superman one.
But I feel like if it was me making this movie, and not that I'm any kind of movie director or anything, but I probably would have ended it when she gets out of the bunker and it blows up, and they had done it. I knew it was going to be aliens when he said that. I was like, that's what they're doing. It's not going to be just as simple as like a disease or a terrorist attack. It's going to be something crazy.
They give allusions to aliens throughout the movie too. Emmett mentions that. Have you ever heard Howard talk about the worms from Mars? Things like that.
So it's like if she'd have walked out of the bunker and she's in her like suit that she makes, and like she looks up and just sees a ship flying by, and then she does that line where she's like, "Oh, you got to be fucking kidding me," or whatever, and then just end it there. That would have been such an awesome ending. Like, it wouldn't have really closed the arc or finished the arc, so that would have been a problem. I guess I didn't really think about that as much, but like the whole thing, the fight scene at the end, it turns into like a fucking cartoon at the end, and it's like a super like intense like psychological thriller type thing, and then it just becomes a Marvel movie or something at the end because she's Batman with her fucking bomb throwing it up, and you know what I mean? It's just. Or even, you know what would have been even better now that I think about it? You could have finished her arc because you could have had her leave and everything seems normal. You know, she gets in a car and just drives off and she's like, well, I guess he was full of shit. I don't know. But, you know, and then when she gets to, maybe she's driving and she sees one of those ships, doesn't even notice her, you know, and it's just flying over and she's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And then maybe she hears the radio. Signal. And she's got the choice there, and she's like, "I'm going for it." I don't. The fight is what really kind of did it for me. I was just
still think you need that because you need to see like the threat that they do. Like you need to see like the gas coming down, like these weird alien dogs, like just what she's up against. Because like the ship done, I feel like that would have drawn criticisms too. Like I don't think
it would have been a very divisive ending.
I honestly don't think. There's a way to do this movie and make everybody happy.
Definitely not.
Like, there's no way to do it.
It comes into, you know, the ending, and completely contradictory to my feelings on this movie is the movie Signs by M. Night Shyamalan, where the aliens are weak to water, which a lot of people have a problem with.
I'm okay with that.
These aliens are completely weak to fire, which again, like
I think it was
took a Molotov cocktail in the mouth. Like it's not like it's weak to fire.
Wasn't
like,
it shown that the stuff?
Eat a Molotov,
but their gas is also
it's like
very
super flammable.
Yeah,
I don't remember how they showed that, but it was.
It's because there's a fire burning in the field when it tries to gas her, and it dissipates when it gets caught on fire. It like flashes away. So again, I don't know, man.
I honestly do not know how you could bring up Signs and say you're okay with
it's
that,
weird,
but not this, because I think
the water thing in Signs is like the dumbest thing.
Yeah, like I'm okay with that, but like
they come to a planet
in Signs, they've given you hints throughout the entire movie with the little girl leaving glasses of water out, like, and the fact that it's alluded to earlier. It's not just all of a sudden. Oh, hey, remember when this fire burned up like 2 seconds ago? You should probably throw a Molotov cocktail at this Thank God
No.
that he stole your whiskey.
But the movie set up that whiskey. Like, so, like, there are setups in this too. I just don't think you want to see them.
Maybe not. And again, I could be incredibly unfair to this movie.
I think you are being unfair because of your
but
love of
I'm
Cloverfield.
generally very open-minded to a lot of things, and I found myself a lot in the theater just wanting, like you were in Batman vs Superman, just is this fucking over yet? I'm done with this. Like I think the best person in this movie was Emmett. I didn't even think John Goodman was that great, to be honest. Like
He was pretty creepy in this movie, I will say.
Yeah,
I was never
disagree.
on edge from him. I was just like I don't know, man.
You're not supposed
I
to
think
be
you were on edge.
It's
I
more
think-
like it's like Norman Bates and Hitchcock. It's this weird, unhinged character, and his like weird obsession with Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Michelle. Like my favorite scenes in this movie have nothing to do with like the aliens or anything. It's like the subtle sexist overtones by John Goodman, like when they're playing the guessing game, right?
He never refuses to call her.
Yes.
Or he never
And-
does even thinks of woman.
And it's
for
pretty
the-
woman is
yeah.
the clue, and they're giving him like perfect clues, and he's like pretty
Girl.
princess, pretty girl.
That was pretty good.
And then
I like that.
when he comes back after he kills Emmett because he's the competition to winning Mary Elizabeth Winstead's heart or whatever, like being with her, like that's his goal, really. He intended for just those two to be alone, and that's why Emmett bashed his way in and like got in there. He wedged himself in between them. When he kills Emmett, he comes back completely clean shaven, like he's going on a date, like he's ready. It's really just like these subtle touches that are like so clever and creepy with him. It's Norman Bates and his mother. Like it's that kind of creepy. It's not intimidating or threatening necessarily.
Although
it's
he-
just
he definitely can
predatory
be.
almost.
He definitely could be.
Yes, he
though.
could
Like,
be,
There were
'cause-
and you never knew how he was going to take shit. Like sometimes he actually had kind of a sense of humor about
Yeah.
him, even though it's kind of weird. It was like you can joke around with him. He's not bad. He's just kind of weird. And then like the next thing you know, Emmett just cracks some stupid joke, and he's
Yeah.
like going off.
It
on
turns
him.
on a dime. Real
Yeah, and
quick.
you never know where you stand with him, really, you know. And then it shows them like kind of, you know, in that montage, they kind of start liking each other more and getting used to each other. They really does it ever say how long they're down there?
Mm-mm.
I would assume it's a couple months or
Yeah,
so.
I would say
maybe
that's
something like
right.
that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and then so it kind of you start thinking like, well, maybe he's just misunderstood. He's just an awkward guy, you know.
Yeah,
But then it's like,
when
no,
the
he's-
montage was going around, I was like kind of actively rooting for them. I was like, cool, like I'm glad we're gonna get to see like everybody bonding and like being a little family down there.
Yeah, and then it's like, no, he's
And then it's
he's
not.
pretty
Oh
fucked
wait,
up.
no, there's some other shit going on. Mm-hmm.
So I liked him in the movie a lot. Like I said, the alien twist at the end wasn't even the issue. I didn't mind that, but the fight scene I think is the only part of the movie that I was just like,
That's fair.
Where she
I-
fights the alien or where she fights John Goodman?
when she throws the Molotov
Okay.
Yeah,
cocktail up into the alien.
What
thing.
is the deal with the other girl that John Goodman has killed?
Well, that was somebody he had kidnapped earlier on, who
Yeah,
was not
'cause-
his daughter, like he was pawning her off to be. It was another girl like Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, who he took in, did weird things, and then dispatched of her body, probably in the bleach or like
I would imagine
the acid.
in the acid. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so is he completely unhinged through the entire movie? Is he a
Yes.
complete psychopath?
Yes,
He was before the movie
Yes,
started.
we just
Okay.
the audience doesn't know it, but his character has been a psychopath the entire time. It's because Emmett kind of budged his way into it that he has to kind of step back and put on this kind of
Facade?
yes.
Well, it's like,
yeah.
why does he have so many like convenient ways of tying someone up in a dungeon? Basically, like he's got all this shit already. Like, why would he have ever? If he thought he was going to be down there
wasn't
alone,
danger, yeah.
like-
why would he have all this stuff?
or yeah, it's like he gives off little clues that he's
Why
not
would he have
what
handcuffs down there? Or like, yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can understand not letting someone go free necessarily at first if you had the means to do it, because it's like you don't know if they're going to wake up and start. Well, she tries to burn the place down, you know. So it's like you don't know how they're going to react to that. So in his mind, maybe it's like it's a precautionary thing, but also like you said, why does he even have that shit?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you have a pair of handcuffs in your nuclear fallout shelter or whatever? You know, if you were expecting it to just be you down there, pretty
Yeah.
much.
And like, I don't know. what is John Goodman's motivation? Like, what is the character's like? Just to kidnap people and
Kidnap her, have his way with her several times, and then dispose of her, and then get a new one. Like the
But
interpretation
then what
I
is
got.
the purpose of the actual end of the world? Because he's obviously
that's the
also
thing.
planning for the end of the world, right?
That's the thing. Well, he's just like, that's just what he does. Like, whatever. Like, you could be a prepper or you could have your hobbies and still be a fucking psychopath or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
he was just prepping. He was just prepping,
Do you
kidnapping
think it was
her.
just coincidental?
And it was coincidental that the end of the world happened. He didn't know it was
Like, he
happening.
was on his
when
way
he
back.
ran
He was on
her
his
off
way.
the road,
Yes.
it was already pre-planned, and then the end of the world
happened by accident.
He just happened to see her
Yeah.
at that gas station.
Yeah.
And it's obvious she does.
because I never picked up on any
And
of
that's
that.
like that. I like, again, like, that's why I kind of love that story, because it is just like what would happen, and like it's a little coincidental, but I think it's well explained in the movie.
And that could be another reason why he's so like standoffish with what's his name, Emmett.
Emmett.
Because it's like he had this whole plan of having this like, captive in his shelter or whatever, and it's like, well, this guy maybe he felt some sense of loyalty to Emmett to let him in because like, well, he did help me build the place. Maybe there, because he's not a complete like, he's still likable in some ways, and so he's not a one-dimensional character. So maybe when Emmett shows up, he's like, well, I'll let him in, and if shit gets out of hand, I'll just kill him because who's gonna care?
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff left unsaid, but you can kind of infer some of it.
Yeah, it's left unsaid, but it never crosses into the plot hole territory. I don't think.
None of that is
Unlike- yeah.
necessary to move the plot forward. Like, as far as the plot's concerned, she could just be down there because he felt bad because he accidentally ran her off the road or whatever it was he said. And maybe that is what happened, like...
we want to believe that.
He tells
at
that
times,
story,
but-
and it's like, well, I have no way of disproving it, neither does she, for that matter, but he seems like he's probably lying. As you find out later, he's not exactly trustworthy, so who the fuck knows? But, none of that is necessary. It's meant to keep you guessing.
Yeah.
Right?
It feels like it's done intentionally, like a Christopher Nolan film would be. Like, it is. We're gonna trust the audience to be smart enough. We're gonna give you this information so you can make your own judgments. But it's not necessarily like we're lazy screenwriters or we don't know what we're doing. This is inept. It is very confident. That's confidence is one thing I really like about this movie. Is the opening is one of the most confident starts to a movie I've ever seen, and it's incredible. Like, this is a first time filmmaker. Like, this is his first movie, and you can say whatever you want about it, but that opening is so confident and ballsy to be completely silent with only musical cues, showing Michelle leaving her apartment really quick, leaving the wedding ring, then getting into the accident. Like, this is like 6 minutes. There's no dialogue. It is all showing, no tell. You get exactly who her character is and exactly what's happening, and you don't have to have like people telling you the plot, people telling you what's happening, unlike a Zack Snyder movie. So I kind of appreciate that, and I think there are a lot of visual elements that are very confident and just very strongly done.
The fiance or the husband talks, doesn't he? When she,
There's
And
like
the
an answering
voicemail.
machine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I think another problem with this movie is that, I mean, even up until the aliens, I feel like I saw every twist coming before it happened. Like, I wasn't surprised at any point in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
it just felt, I don't know.
I guess I could kind of see that just because as much as they were kind of trying to leave you guessing about John Goodman, it's like, well, it is a movie. He's probably going to be crazy,
Yeah.
and try to kill her. What else would happen?
Well, and he does have a lot of giant flip outs over seemingly innocent things.
Once he shoots the guy in the face, I think it's pretty
well,
much
yeah,
cemented
but
at that point.
by that point, we're at the last crawl. We're in the third act.
right?
So,
It's
I mean,
about over.
at the beginning when she's very innocently flirting with the Emmett character, just trying to get a rise out of John
Yeah.
Goodman, and she gets an even bigger rise, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, okay, he's a fucking psycho. What's going to happen here? How are we going to deal with this?
But and this is why I just don't understand, because yes, you see he's a psycho, and so you think he's fucking lying. Like, there's no reason to be down there. And then she tries to go out to the surface. She gets real close, and then you see the lady come in and start banging her head against the glass, trying to get in because there's something out there. How did that not subvert your expectations at that point then? Because then the film wants you to think, well, maybe he's not wrong. Maybe like he's just a weirdo, but like there's something going on out there.
Well, and again, it's because I knew a lot. I probably ruined myself for this movie. But I knew that there were other things going on beside that. I knew that this lady wasn't wrong, and that I'm not saying that John Goodman isn't wrong, but he's still insane. Like,
yeah. Oh, he's
Well, they were smart by doing that, and then that's basically when they start kind of becoming chummy with each other.
The montage happens after
yeah,
that.
it's like, well, maybe he's not. And that was, I think, pretty obviously done to make us also kind of get on board with him. Like, well, maybe he was just trying to help, and he just did it in a really fucking weird way. But he did save her life either way. Because even if he purposefully was like kidnapping there, and then it just happened to be the end of the world or whatever, right at that moment, like she would have still been dead either way. Not that maybe that's not a better existence down there if she'd have been down there alone with him necessarily, but so he did actually save her as far as we know. So maybe he's not that bad a guy, but you find out, of course, that he is a pretty bad guy. So
yeah.
I also
sorry.
I thought that the entire homemade hazmat suit was really hokey.
See, I
don't know if that would actually work, but at least it was kind of a clever. It was a clever use of skills that she was known
set up
to a degree.
It was very movie magic.
Sure,
but you cannot talk about fucking movie magic-esque in Cloverfield and be fucking okay with Batman versus Superman.
But I'm
where
saying
nothing is set up.
In a movie in Batman versus Superman, I'm expected to see two guys beat the shit out of each other in supernatural ways. In a movie called 10 Cloverfield Lane, where up until this point I have not seen aliens, her constructing a magical hazmat suit out of a fucking shower curtain and a 2-liter pop bottle is just a bit. It wants me to be in this world of realism, and then it shows me things like this. That
I don't know if it was a world of realism though, because
it's not.
I mean, I didn't know that much about this movie when we saw it. I just knew that it existed, and like everyone else, I was, they announced it like a month before it came out.
Yeah,
but I didn't read anything about it. I don't even know if there was that much to read about it. But I did know that it's a J.J. Abrams thing. J.J. Abrams joint.
Yeah.
But
he took the title from Spike Lee. He owns the joints.
Yeah.
J.J. joint.
So it's a J.J. Abrams joint. It's got the word Cloverfield in the title. I knew they probably weren't necessarily going to be, it wasn't going to be a sequel, but it's like, there's going to be something fucking weird about it. And so it's like, and once they started talking about aliens in the movie, like I said, it was like, all right, that's probably what's happening.
Exactly
It's
what was
prepping you for what's going to happen. Yeah,
the worms from Mars.
I knew it wasn't just going to be as simple as like a terrorist attack or even a disease, even though it showed that woman with like her face melting or whatever. But it's like, and the only thing left is pretty much aliens. So you knew kind of where it was going. So yeah, I mean, maybe the suit was a little, but at least it explained it. Yeah. Because she found that survival
within the universe, it works. But again, I'm just saying personally.
I don't know if you can do that or not.
That was one thing that kind of I was just like, it took me out of it again. I could not fully ever see I couldn't commit to the movie.
Okay.
I was constantly evaluating it from a third, like a disconnected area. So
yeah,
again, it's probably a lot of me doing that.
I honestly, I do at this point. I do think it was. I think. In these movies, you talk about like the big negative thing, like, oh, you saw this coming or that coming. I think if you want to see that coming, you can. If you're not taken with the movie,
disbelief is a big thing.
Yeah. So whatever, that might be a failing of the movie for you then, but I think you're looking for it at that point. And when it comes to the realism,
that was a big part of it. It was
of
probably
the
me
suit,
looking
like,
for it. Yeah.
Cloverfield isn't realistic. Like the one you love is not realistic.
I would disagree.
They do a lot of fucking things that are hard to believe. A lot of things.
The only thing I remember from that, as far as being like really over the top dumb, I thought was
when they climb on the building from the other
it's
building.
Like it's like collapsing.
I know.
Oops.
And then
it's holding the other building up.
Magically sucking rebar. They pick her up. She's fine. The whole subway sequence or the train sequence is a subway. Yeah, with all the things and they're fighting them off with sticks.
The parasites.
Like, would not happen. I feel there's some more like. At one point, because I just saw Cloverfield right before 10 Cloverfield Lane, because Laura hadn't seen it, and she liked it.
Wow.
She loves She liked both of them. She likes in Cloverfield Lane more.
Really?
And I agree.
I disagree so
But,
hard.
Like, there
I
are
haven't
things in
seen
that movie,
Cloverfield in
too,
years, so.
like, where they're running down a street and just all of a sudden tanks are behind them shooting. It makes no fucking sense why they wouldn't pick up on that before. Like, it's done just for the sake of movie magic and whatever. And I would argue, too, like, the original Cloverfield, HUD is a great character. I love HUD. HUD is fantastic.
Which
and
one was he?
And
He's the guy holding the camera.
yeah,
Oh, right.
By
like
T.J.
HUD,
Miller.
like-
Yeah, the
like
heads-up
a-
display.
that's why he's called HUD.
That's T.J. Miller. I didn't
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's T.J. Miller.
And then Lizzie Kaplan's character, who I can't remember her name right now, but his love interest.
Marlene.
Marlene.
yeah.
Marlene. Those are good characters. Rob and Beth and all these
Who
other...
cares about them?
They're fucking
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Cloverfield Lane has 3 fantastic characters, and I think does something amazing with them.
I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead, but I did not like her in this movie either, man. Like, really, I really liked
man.
Emmett, but that was pretty much it for me.
I think you went in not wanting to like this movie.
I disagree. I went in really wanting to like this movie, and I think that's maybe what did me in. I maybe had, and I try not to ever overhype myself because I've been burned a lot by doing it to myself, but I think I did it again with this movie. I overhyped it, and I built it up to be something a lot more than what it was.
See, you need to become more jaded and cynical like the rest
Like
of
you,
us.
yeah. Especially like you, Nathan. You hate everything.
I don't hate everything. I just don't. I temper my expectations.
You do
you know?
a lot better than I do,
Yeah.
and you know me a lot. You
'Cause
know I
I
get excited about a lot of crap.
You
that
know, I
turns
get
out to bite
excited
me
about
on the
stuff
ass.
still. Like the last Star Wars movie. I
I was
pretty
so fucking
hyped
hype on
about.
that, and that paid off so much more
That's
than
one of
even
the-
I was hyped for, though.
It's one of the. I can't
It's
think
a
of a
rare
time
exception,
in recent
yeah.
memory where that's happened though. Where I mean, you know, I don't
Like
really.
10 Cloverfield Lane for me. Because I went in really expecting good. And even after you saw it before I did, and you're like, I
told
didn't
you
like
bad.
it.
Yeah.
And I still was like, well, he's in the minority because like a lot of
I
people
am
are
in the
loving
minority for sure.
So
a
I
lot of
still,
people do
like-
like this movie,
I was
and that
super-
gives me hope.
Yeah.
I like the idea that I hope that they do make this a new Twilight Zone
I do too, yeah.
franchise where like. So the next movie in this Cloverfield universe won't be about giant monsters or aliens.
Yeah.
It'll be something new that's weird and unique. I like that. I hope they do that.
Could you pinpoint what exactly your issue with the movie is? Is it the direction? Is it the script? Is it like what's the ballpark
I
here?
really got off. Not got off.
No,
but
I was there. He did.
I really came.
The alien mouth kind of looked like a vagina
It
a
did.
little bit,
But when-
with teeth.
I think it was a little.
Okay,
bit.
so when she goes through the air duct and
Yes.
she restarts the thing, and then she finds the earring with the help, and it turns out that that's the earring of the girl that he's passing off on his daughter. I don't know, all of that I just didn't like, and I was pretty much shut off from that point on.
I didn't get
What
why.
about it?
Just as a kind of a nitpicky thing, I guess, but like, wouldn't he have made it a little more convenient for himself to get to that air? pump
That
thing?
too, like if that thing can fail that easily,
Yeah,
you're
it's
not
like,
going to fit.
You
in
want
that
to be
fat
able to
John
access
Goodman.
that at any moment because you have like an hour to get to it, basically, and it's
then
like
you're
the
gonna
only way
die.
to it is through this thing. That's
Yeah.
this
That was
wide.
dumb. And then
Yeah.
like,
Well,
The
I will
fact-
say real quick. I will say, people realistically can be dumb and they can have oversights, and that
That's a
could have
big
been
one,
an
though.
oversight.
that is a big oversight. I agree. But here's again, this is my fault. I was following the alternate reality game for this.
Yeah.
And in the alternate reality game, it's all about John Goodman's character talking about his daughter and wanting to reconnect with her. And then the fact that they, at a point, show what you think is the daughter, and then they circumvent that and show it as just another girl that he's kidnapped. What is the... John Goodman's character is all over the place to me. Like, does he love the
He's
daughter?
all-
Does he want to rape women?
There is no daughter. Like,
But there
that's
is a
the thing.
daughter if you're following the arc. There is a daughter, and
do
he's
you-
reaching out to her, but
how
she
do you
has
know
died.
this? Okay, well then that all right. So if that's canon, which I've not played the ARG, so I don't know. If that's canon, then it's clear he has an obsession with his dead daughter by kidnapping these girls and making them wear the Paris T-shirt
Yeah.
and making them be the surrogate daughter.
And live in the bunker room
And
that
then
he was starting
probably
to paint.
rape him because
Yeah,
he's
I think,
super creepy. And I don't. Why are you saying that's all over the place? Like that's a pretty dead-on psycho, and like motivations seem pretty clear.
I think
Rape fest.
maybe he's just
Rape fest.
You could forget about because I
So
didn't.
we've not
even-
had a rape fest in this episode yet.
I don't know anything about the what is it, ARG or whatever.
I
Yeah.
call them ARGs, but yeah,
But,
ARG, Ultimate Reality Game.
But even without that, because I'd say 99% of the people that watch this have.
Have not done
No.
that.
Yeah,
No.
so you can't really.
Again, that's probably
can-
me overhyping.
Well, I mean, you could just explain it as he's a fucking schizo. You know what I mean? Like, you never know what
Yeah.
kind of reaction, bipolar, whatever you want to call it. He's just a fucking nutcase, you know? And it's like I was saying before, you never know what kind of reaction you're going to get out of him. Like, 1 second he's just laughing along with you, and then a perceived slight.
Happens.
Yeah,
to
and he's wanting to fucking shoot you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
and then
got you in a
my other
chokehold or
thing is,
something, you know?
Thank God that coincidentally this chick wore the giant earrings into the bunker that she was also photographed in her high school picture of with these giant gaudy earrings. And then she also, how did she just leave one that Mary Elizabeth Weinstein's characters just picked right up on? Maybe it's a girl thing,
How
but
do you know it was her high school photo? How do you
'Cause
know
that's what-
John Goodman didn't take it?
That's what-
No, it didn't say anything
that's
about
what
high
Emmett
school.
said though. But Emmett said, "Oh,
But
yeah,
he
I went to high
doesn't know
school
any.
with-" Yeah,
He says I went to high school with that girl, and then
but it
Isn't
looks like a high school.
sister's grade
it
or
looks like a
something?
high school photo, but you don't know that.
I mean, I can't say for sure.
Like
but
he
I
could have
mean,
just taken it down in the bunker
I
with
think-
that earring, so that makes sense. Like he went to the high school with the daughter who is not that girl in the picture. So those are two completely unrelated facts.
Very possibly. I will not give, but if you're going that lengths to describe it, sure, I'll give you that.
No, I think the movie explicitly states that.
I thought it. I implied that it was a high school photo of her.
I think it
I
could
think
be,
you
but
were reading into that.
I don't think it's.
I don't think that.
I don't
can be
think it's
taken as
crazy
fact.
to assume that like a high school girl who has like a favorite pair of earrings.
Would wear the same pair
She
all
could.
the time too.
It's
Again,
not crazy to think
I'm not
she'd
a
have
female.
them
I
on.
don't know.
That's one of those things like
I used to be a female,
The,
and you only have one pair of earrings.
F to M right here, ladies and gentlemen. I wear the same fucking belt every day though. I mean, for
Yeah,
me, like
yeah.
It's, I mean, it's possible. I'm
It's
not
possible.
saying it.
and earrings are just like a. I mean, even if she had several pairs, maybe that's her favorite one, and she just wore them more
Yeah.
than the other ones. It's not like a plot hole necessarily. It's
I'm not
at
saying
all.
it's a plot hole. It's just convenient.
Okay,
So-
but
It just sounds like a lot of nitpicks.
And it
coming
probably
from
is.
you.
Again, I really can't give you a concrete reason why this movie rubbed me the wrong way. I can just tell you that it did, and I left the movie feeling not fulfilled and actually not enjoying it. So,
if you weren't into the idea of this, like, I guess what slow burn of a
And it's a
I-
very slow burn.
I like slow burn
psychological
movies,
thriller
too.
type thing.
You like The Witch, which is like the
slowest
I think it's an
burn.
even slower burn. Yeah.
yeah, and like
It's
I like
definitely-
It Follows, which is
You saw
also
The
a
Witch?
really slow
Yeah.
burn. Yeah, we saw. Did we see it together?
No,
No, but we talked about it.
The Witch. Yeah,
Yeah.
It Follows was
Also a
I've seen
slow burn.
Yeah.
But I like slow burn movies.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
Which
my
is-
problem.
I know,
here.
which is why like it surprised me because
Yeah.
it seems very much akin to those movies. Like it's that slow burn with some very slight twists and like small payoffs, which are I don't know, which are
I don't
things
know.
you have liked in the past.
I'm
I'm confounded by why.
I cannot give you a concrete reason why, but there's just something about it I didn't enjoy. Maybe you're right.
That's
Maybe
fair.
I will revisit it in a few years and things will change. I will probably give it a few years before I do watch
I
it
would too.
again.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch
I
it
mean, I'm
before
not going to
then for
watch
you.
it as soon as it comes back on DVD.
no,
but,
no, and I wouldn't recommend that.
but maybe it will. Maybe time will heal all wounds, as they say.
I mean, I like the movie, and I probably won't watch it again for a long time.
yeah,
so.
I don't see
I
a reason
will
to.
watch it, and right now it's my movie to beat for the year.
I
It's
disagree.
going to be in my. I guarantee you, if we do a top of the year list, this will be appearing in mine.
Maybe, but maybe I will watch it again if we do another top of the year. But
I wouldn't force you to because
No, I
it
think I
seems like
should,
you're
though.
legitimately like
because you do
not
like this
digging
so much more than what I have. Like
Yeah.
maybe knowing what I know and going in again and being able to take myself away from it and watch it like unconnected to it in the way that I originally went into it. Like, but again, I think for this year, The Witch is a way better movie. Like,
I think it's a more ambitious movie, and it's something very different. But I would not say it's a better movie.
I wish we were doing this episode on The Witch myself because
I don't know if I could talk about that
I don't
movie
know.
for an hour.
I think I could. I saw
Yeah,
it
we
twice.
could probably go into it for a little bit. I mean, it's up to you guys, but I'd be
don't
willing to
know.
talk about it a little bit.
Where are we at, sound engineer Andy, on time?
1 hour 6.
1 hour 6.
I think we could wrap up.
Probably not.
We'll just wrap up. Maybe when it comes out on DVD, we can do another.
I think so.
episode.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I would like to talk about it, but again, so
I'd like to rewatch it again before I talk about it.
You
too.
obviously say you recommend this movie.
Well, there's an asterisk. I real quick before we do wrap up, I do want to share like my theater going experience because there were a bunch of bros, college bros that were like on the verge of fucking ruining this movie at the beginning.
Same thing that happened to us in The Witch.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But they were completely on board. I don't know if they had ever seen a movie before. They must have been fucking stupid as hell. But like every little twist surprised the fuck out of them. Like, so like somebody would get shot and I would just hear like these fucking idiots in the front row go like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is happening? What is this? Is this a movie? What?" And it's like it was blowing their mind. So I really enjoyed that. Like they were close to ruining it and then they turned it around and it just became like an even better movie going experience just to hear minds being blown about like simple shit.
Yeah, things that
And
you've
it's
seen
like,
a
come
million
on,
times.
like
Yeah.
Well, it's like I was talking earlier about how I knew it was going to be some weird twist because it's the whole J.J.
Yeah.
Abrams thing and whatever. And just from having seen movies, it's like there's going to be something
Yeah.
about this. It's not going to, or it's just not going to be anything. And the twist will be that he was actually just full of shit.
I knew they wouldn't.
I don't know if that'd
do
be
that
a
'cause of the
twist.
Cloverfield.
Yeah, exactly.
Title. Yeah.
There's got to be some kind of sci-fi-ish, horror-ish type thing to this, or else it wouldn't be. I don't think they would have released it as a Cloverfield movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard. You got to keep in mind that, obviously, from your experience, that not everyone is aware of that.
Yeah.
There's people where you can be watching a movie where a twist is or telegraphed from like an hour prior to it happening, and
people.
you're just like, all right, he's the bad guy, obviously,
Joe Schmo Public is a fucking idiot.
and not even necessarily.
I mean, maybe that's a bold stance, but I'll back you on it. Like,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, for many reasons,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that one in particular, though, it's like some people it's hard to imagine, but like some people don't actually pay that much attention to movies. They'll
Yeah.
watch them for fun, and there's nothing really wrong with that.
no.
And
Not most people are giant nerds like us that deconstruct fucking.
yeah, so it's like,
Hey, he said that 42 seconds ago.
yeah, it's like, oh well, this thing in the background. If you know anything about filmmaking, like the thumb, I keep forgetting
thimble.
thimble. Yeah, keep forgetting the name.
And when she sews him up too, sewing is going to be
And
a
I
central
didn't-
part of her character.
I didn't necessarily think at that point, like, all right, that's coming back for something. That could just be a background thing, but it's like when you see that she's talking about wanting to be a fashion designer
That
later.
you see like you see drawings before she's
Yeah,
leaving.
you
and
know
and the
she knows
design
how to
dummy.
do that. Like
Yeah.
if you put me in that situation, I wouldn't know how to make that fucking suit. You know what I mean? And most
She
people
did.
probably wouldn't. But like combined with the fact that she finds the survival manual, which is another thing of like, all right, I'm becoming more capable. And she's growing from that character who runs from everything to someone who can stand their ground and actually knows how to take care of themselves. So. But most people don't notice that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh wow, she made the suit, and now she, that it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like, it's hard to judge a movie on those kind of merits as someone like those guys in the audience who you're just like, well, they don't know that shit, they're not paying
Yeah.
attention.
Well,
but
I
they love
guarantee
the
you,
movie.
Those kind
so
of people are not running a podcast either.
right. So,
I
but
mean, 10 minutes of just like, that was crazy, right? Yeah.
right, and it's like, and those guys obviously enjoyed the movie, So it's like, well,
Yeah.
I mean,
They came out better
Yeah.
than me.
But
Yeah,
that's my asterisk. Is essentially, I would recommend this if you're patient and you can deal with the slow burn, because I can see that turning a lot of people off.
there
and
were
that's
times
really
when
it.
I was like, all right, let's get this.
Yeah,
moving
Yeah.
a
I
little
can
bit,
see that turning people off. For me, like,
But I felt that way about The Witch too. There was
Yeah.
times in that where I was
Yeah.
like, all
Yeah.
right, I don't need somebody getting their head chopped off or something in every 5 minutes in a horror movie or anything, but it's like
just some scenes.
something needs to build this up a little
Yeah.
bit. And the times where that was happening were awesome in The Witch.
It's
See, I like
intentional.
the other things in The Witch where they were just building those characters and like things weren't happening. But
You can have that,
There
but,
was just this
Yeah.
oncoming sense of dread that I knew something was coming, where I didn't feel it with 10 Cloverfield Lane. Like I expected it, and I knew it was coming, but I didn't dread it coming.
I liked The Witch a lot, but I would flip that with you. I really enjoyed the character moments a lot more in 10 Cloverfield Lane. Aside from the main girl, I can't remember her name right now in The Witch. I thought she was very well, but like anything
I liked her,
with
and I liked the father a lot.
See, anything with the parents, like there's some good stuff, but like I don't think those characters were as strong or as riveting as in.
But the main character in The
Cloverfield.
Witch, she's fucking great.
She's fantastic, and
She's
she is an
amazing.
actress
So
that's going places.
Yeah.
And
Well-
I will also say, I think Dan Trachtenberg, the director of this movie,
I would like to see what else
I
he
think he
does.
has a future. Like
Yeah.
I think it was very, very, very strong effort what he did here, and a great, very strong female protagonist. I thought she's up there.
I've always liked Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So
Me too.
I would like to see what Trachtenberg does after this.
Mm-hmm.
I will give him another shot. I think he knows what he's doing, and he does interesting things.
I think
But
so.
Again,
I think the
It's
movie's shot very well. At the very least, I think it is
it
competently
just didn't
shot.
click with me, and that's
fine.
It's not a harp on the movie. That's the basis of our podcast is that
Yeah.
not everything works for everybody. So
That's I understand. That's you really liked Hateful Eight last year.
yeah,
The movie did not click with me for some
fair
reason,
enough.
and I don't think it's a bad movie. Like it's
I liked it better than Django.
shot to hell. Like it's really
And again,
There's
that
good
was
stuff,
another
but-
slow burn for
Yeah.
the most part. So
but it just didn't click. So I understand.
Nathan, Hateful Eight or
What do
Django?
you? Oh, is that what we're doing? Oh.
Those are the two westerns.
So in case it's not clear, I picked Django.
Yeah.
You know, I've only seen The Hateful Eight once. I actually almost rented it last night. It's up on iTunes now, but I've seen Django like 3 times. So I don't know. I guess if I had to choose right this second, I'd probably go Django just because
Yeah.
I'm more familiar with
Fair
it.
enough.
But if I want to watch,
You might
Hateful
grow
Eight
to
again.
love
Yeah.
Hateful Eight too
I
if you
do
see
like-
it.
Because
I
I
like-
like The Hateful Eight. I thought
I
it was
like
really
Django
good,
a lot. I like Leo in Django. I think Leo's the best part of Django.
but, you know,
the Calvin Candy stuff is just
I'm-
fantastic.
I'm typically a. This will sound kind of weird to say, but like, I'm kind of a proponent of like really violent shit in movies. I'm
I
not
do
a,
too, man.
I'm
Me
not
too,
a
yeah.
violent person in life at all, but I love
Violence in movies.
There's
Yeah.
there's something cathartic about it.
But and I've heard other people say this about Tarantino's movies, where it's like, especially The Hateful Eight, where it's like all this like character build up and like the drama between them and everything, and it has to end in someone getting their balls blown off and like another dude, and I'm not saying it shouldn't have had any violence at the end, but there was so much like right at the end where it's just
Tacked
like
in.
it just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
was there because he wanted it there.
It felt
Yeah.
gratuitous, and it
Yeah.
felt like Tarantino trying to live up to Tarantino.
Violence
I
for
agree
the
with that,
sake of
yeah.
violence for some movies that works. If it's like
I
a
agree.
sillier kind of action movie,
Or the movie
who
A
would
History
watch
of Violence.
Who would watch Commando?
We should talk about that.
We will.
I fucking love that
we
movie.
will get into that movie because I love it too. I
Oh,
fucking
good.
love it.
Okay.
I
Well,
love
like-
that
no, we won't
movie.
pick that then because we need more fights.
Well, a movie like Commando or something, where it's
Oh,
like
lay
he
off
hits
the
a dude,
steam.
he hits a dude in the nutsack with an axe, like, and then picks him up, like, and he's like chopping. He throws a buzz saw blade, or what do you call it? Table saw
Yeah.
blade. Or is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Table
table
saw.
saw
Yeah.
blade. Mhm.
He
Buzzsaw would
throws it
also work.
into the dude's head. It's just stupid, but it's
that's
awesome.
a typical Monday for Arnold.
Or like RoboCop.
But
you
that's
know?
Arnold
No.
in the
Shit
fucking
like that.
80s,
Yeah.
man. Well, but RoboCop is completely different from Commando. I feel,
Well, I'm
in
just
its
saying, like,
portrayal of
violence.
But
It's
yeah,
just-
hyper
it's
violence.
gratuitous
Yeah.
violence has
Yeah.
its place.
It's
don't get me
not
wrong.
only does Murphy need to be shot, he needs to be shot 50 fucking times.
He needs to get his arm
everywhere,
blown off.
completely blown. Yeah, exactly. It's just
And
it's
so yeah, it's
I
like
agree.
gratuitous violence definitely has a place, and I'm not I don't oppose that necessarily, but like a movie like The Hateful Eight, it just felt kind of like unnecessary.
Mhm.
The violence itself isn't what I wasn't offended by it at all, but like the violence itself was just kind of like okay,
It's much like the
shot
last
him in
20
the
minutes of
nutsack.
Cloverfield Lane, where it feels tacked on to appease an
I don't.
audience.
Yeah.
I don't feel it's quite that bad, but like,
So, all right. So we know where Ryan and I stand on this. Nathan, you will be the outlier. 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Do you recommend it? Yes or no?
I would recommend it.
Okay.
But just know, I mean, if you've listened to this without watching the movie, you
You're fucking.
You already know
might as well
everything,
not
yeah.
even watch it.
Yeah.
But like,
It might be better because you know what to expect.
That's
it
true,
might
too.
like put you in the
You're
right
going
set of
better
mind.
than-
I
me.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like if you somehow didn't know anything about this, which if it weren't for the fact that it was a Cloverfield movie from JJ or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that production company, I wouldn't have known what was, because nobody knew that it was even being made. Really,
It wasn't originally, and that's the other problem I have with it is that it definitely feels like two movies slammed together.
Because it wasn't. That's not true.
It wasn't.
It's been confirmed. It's not true.
Really, Valencia.
It was all bad. They wanted to do it all the time, but they wanted to keep it under the radar. So they lied about some things with the title and like the budget and everything until the end.
I knew that they do that thing. I mean, most movies are not shot under the name.
I think that 10 Cloverfield Lane is a damning title.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a Cloverfield being like a new Twilight Zone, but I think it does. It sets up false expectations, and it kind of.
Yep.
I think it will turn a lot of people off because they are expecting something and they're not going to get that. But at the same time, it's also worked for them marketing wise. It made money and it's getting a lot of people to see a movie that if it was called just like Bunker or Valencia or something, nobody go see this fucking movie. So I'm glad it's getting seen by people. But at the same time, I think the marketing might be hurting the movie too.
It would have been like one of those movies that comes out on demand, but it plays in like 3 theaters or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You're never going to see
limited.
it unless you live in like a very specific area of
LA.
Los Angeles or something, and it plays for like 2 weeks max.
Better go see it.
Agreed.
Yeah, and but you can pay $15 to watch it on iTunes or whatever, so it's fine. But like, it would not. I mean, it was playing when we saw it at the theater over there on Third, like the screen that they would get like a new Marvel movie on or something.
Yeah, the biggest screen.
It wasn't in one of the screens in the back that's smaller and the sound's kind of shitty. Like this was like
there's a 300 people theater as opposed to like the 82 people theater.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's a screen I remember watching the Avengers on a few years ago or whatever. So it's like they gave, and it was for some reason. I mean, maybe it was awesome in IMAX. I know it was played on some.
I couldn't see how it was awesome.
I was like, why? I can't imagine this would really matter on like. It would probably be cool because most movies look pretty.
That'd
good,
be my same complaint with the Hateful Eight. Is there was no reason for it to be 70 millimeter either.
Fair enough. Yeah, you could have done that with other things.
The only thing that I would have, any outdoor scenes as few as there were in that movie would have looked
fucking
good.
amazing.
And I've heard that was the thing. Like,
yeah, it's really just like that opening shot, and that's it. Because the only other time you see outside in the Hateful Eight, it's like completely covered in white, so you don't even see the scenery.
There was.
It's the oppressive white. It's racism. Get it? That's literally the subtext in Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Well, when I saw, I went up to I think I talked about this on when we did the Star Wars episode, but I drove up to Indy to watch the IMAX. Was it the Indiana State Museum or whatever?
Yeah.
And there's only one scene in that movie that's actually in 70 millimeter. It's the one where they steal the Millennium Falcon and
is
zip
it
around Janku? What is it?
Jakku.
Jankum.
Jakku, not Jankum. Get out of here. Take a walk. Take a hike.
Oh, that's why I fucked that up. I'm high on Jankum right now. But just took a dump, left it in a plastic tub, and got fucked up on the way over.
Fuck yeah.
Is Jankum the stuff that comes from that plastic tub?
Yeah, you never heard of that?
And then you re-smoke it?
No, it's
you inhale it and sniff it. Yeah.
I'm a little unclear as if it's real or not.
You guys are talking like this is a thing, and now I'm concerned because I was making a joke. This is a thing?
Yeah.
It's called...
You poop in a tub and you sniff
you poop
it?
in a bag.
Well, you're supposed to poop in like some airtight container, I think, and you
let it ferment.
Yeah, and then after, I don't know how long it takes, probably a day or so, maybe.
I think it's usually like a week.
You leave it out in the sun, and the
then
fumes.
You inhale those. Yeah.
What? I didn't know anything about this.
And I don't know if it's actually
man.
true or not. I've heard that it's not. I've heard that it is.
As
It was one of those big like moral panic type things in the 90s. Like everybody's like, "Oh, this is the new thing your kids are doing."
Oh, they were huffing gas. They're
Local
huffing shit.
Local news reports about it. You know, just and you can look them up on YouTube. They're hilarious because like people.
We will actually link them in the YouTube.
There you go. Good.
Fuck it.
There's a video you can find that's like some. I want to say maybe it's in Texas or something, but it's a news report just talking about it. It's ridiculous. Like even if it's true, it might be. I don't know. But who the fuck is actually going to... There's like a small subset of people who will do anything.
Kids aren't lining up
to get a high.
But most people aren't
I'll stick with bath salts.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
Jenkin might actually be safer than bath salts. I don't
You know, speaking of our
I'm gonna try
YouTube
both.
and what we're going to link to it, Ryan, would you please list those beautiful things that
Yeah.
you can find us on?
So Kyle's been putting up live videos. You can find them at youtube.com. Just search Experience Grind. We have a channel up there. Subscribe so we can get an actual channel name. We put all of our episodes up there in glorious HD, and Andy, sound engineer Andy, is doing a fantastic job editing.
Those are in 4K 70 millimeter.
Not yet.
right?
Yes. Soon they will be on IMAX screens so you can see our big dumb faces. Just wasted. More wasteful than the Hateful Eight, that 70 millimeter on us.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
This podcast I've heard described as a slow burn.
It is.
That's what a lot of people are saying these days.
This one's not. This one started off with a bang, and then it got really serious for like 40 minutes, and then we're talking about Jankum and bath salts now.
Yeah.
And now
Never
life's
heard of
good again.
Jankum, for
I've
real?
never heard of Jankum.
He's also
No.
never heard of THO.
Well, that's not a
THO.
thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know THO.
It's a Indiana thing.
I got it right
That's not
now.
everything.
Thinking about my Jankum supply at home. Shit's got me.
Think about
excited.
9/11. Oh wait, I'm not Zack Snyder.
Oh my God.
So
Callback. So
I
please
remember-
continue.
I remember on 9/11 where I was.
And I had really
I
rock
was-
hard tits.
Well, no, I was at home. I had been huffing my Jankum all morning.
Please-
and I turned
please
on
finish.
the news to that horrible sight, and America was never the same after that.
I had to pull my fingers out of my butthole.
I was fishing out some more Jankum to marinate, and my life changed. Everybody's lives changed.
Dear God, Ryan, please finish.
I kind of don't want to anymore.
You got to, so we can end this.
I
God.
hope an employer that I seek at some point in the future
Looks at
Googles
these?
my name. Like, oh, he's on this fucking stupid show. Let's check it out. Let's listen.
Oh,
He's talking about smoking shit and how much he loved 9/11 or whatever. You're like, I just fucked myself so bad.
The joke is your future employer is going to be Warner Brothers, and they're going to give you a Superman
The
movie.
joke
Yeah.
is I would
So
never be able to get
it
a
all
job.
wins.
Yeah.
So
Find us on Facebook.com
Yes.
/experience grind. There will not be any posts about Jankum or 9/11. Twitch.com /exp grind podcast, where Kyle is putting up. I don't know, what was your last video? The last ones I followed were the Resident Evil.
It's still Resident Evil. I'm going to start playing Psychonauts again
Okay.
very soon, and that'll be up there.
So
you should
expect
stream
that
us
soon.
playing, what do you call it? Resident Evil 5.
I don't have
yeah.
my capture device yet. It's not showed up, but I will.
What have you been capturing on?
Everything else I captured, it's already on the PC.
Oh,
so
you got it. Okay.
I got to have a separate capture device, which has
Right.
not come in yet.
I forgot
so.
that game.
I think that's good.
Yeah. So
That's
there we
fine.
go.
The other
10 Cloverfield
places
Lane.
go fuck themselves.
Yeah, like the audience, they can go fuck themselves. We haven't given one of those again for a while.
You say we don't give them in a while, but you do it every week.
every other week.
You do it like every week. You do it every week.
Go fuck yourself, audience. I don't care. I do care. Please stick around. I would like to say, these are recorded a month in advance. I don't know when this will come out compared to what we have
Yeah.
in store, but I am very excited about what's coming up next week. I don't want to give too much away, but I think it will be really fucking cool.
Yes.
It's a personal high note for me.
For me too, yeah.
Just in general, so I'm very excited about that.
And I think it'll be a lot of fun as opposed to doing stage falls and wrestling.
Yeah, it's a completely new experience for both of us, but that's the other part of this podcast was getting new life
I
experiences.
mean, it's like another level of reality.
Yeah, I'm going to
say.
be blown away. I hope it's as cool as I'm hyping it up to be.
Yeah.
So with that, as always, we want to give thanks to sound engineer Andy. He keeps us rolling. He keeps us looking great. You're the best, dude. We love you. As always, again, Nathan, man, thank you so fucking much, dude. I love it when you're on the show.
If you guys want to know anything else about me,
You can find me at jankum.gmail.com.
you could go to google.com, type my name in. I don't think anything will come up, but you could try it.
Yeah.
I love how dry you are.
I love
Oh
that
my God,
Nathan,
it's so good.
as good at you and I are at derailing this podcast, fucking just get Nathan on the show and the entire thing's off the rails every time he opens his mouth. It's amazing. I love it. It's the best.
So if anything does come up on Google,
Please let him
me
know.
know because I haven't seen it.
And if you got anything special requests that you want us to talk about with Nathan, hit us
dying.
up. Send them to us, please. And we're going to go ahead and stop now. And we're going to just let this die. So
Rightfully so.
thank you guys as always. We love you.
This episode will probably never be released.
No, it's never coming out. But if it does, thank you guys. You're the best. I'm sorry that you listened to all of this.
It's never coming, just like Zack Snyder and his 9/11 masturbation. He's just so rock hard, always.
It's just
Dry rub always.
All right, I'm stopping.
It's just blood. It's just blood in chunks.
Grind out.
That's what Zack Snyder says when he touches his dick.
Jesus Christ, I stopped.
Looking at the
like,
towers coming down.
More like
Holy fuck, dude. 9/11 is hell.
Nasty.
more like Jack Snyder jacking off. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm stopping. I'm going.